Hello everyone, welcome back to Bryar Rose. We're now on chapter 18. I don't know how long I've been sleeping, but it's a gross taste in my mouth that wakes me up. Ugh. It's like I gargled medicine and aftershave. I slowly blink, my eyes open. Huh? I'm lying atop a double bed inside a round hotel room. Grey paint peels off the walls. A moth-eaten carpet covers the floor. The windows are all cracked and dirty, so I can't see outside. That said, the light itself is bright, and insects are chirping away outside. It must be late afternoon. I moan and press my palms to my eyes. Late afternoon. That means I've been passed out all night. And it's now Saturday, my birthday. I should not be in a crappy hotel room today. And how exactly did I get here, anyway? The last thing I remember, Philpott shoved an handkerchief over my mouth. He must have knocked me out and brought me... where? To a broken-down hotel room that's somehow rammed? I'd say that's totally weird. But this is my life, after all. Strange stuff sticks to me like toilet paper to a shoe. I sit upright, and that's when I see it. I am dressed in a red toga. What? The what? The dress loops over my shoulder and ties around my waist. Sure, it's ankle length, but it's the kind of thing you wear to a prom, not to sleep. Fear tightens up my rib cage. There aren't a lot of reasons to dress me this way. Well, the ones there are not good, none of them. There's a knock at the rickety door. May I come in? The voice is female, overly bright, somewhat familiar. Sure. Not like I have a lot of choices here. The door swings open with a long creak, and through it steps someone I never thought I'd see again. At least, not while she was still alive. It's Blanche, the girl who went missing from the Magicorum teen therapy group. She's wearing a version of the outfit Madame Grimoire always favoured, an A-line dress in sky blue with a pillbox hat and white gloves. My mouth seems to move on its own. You're alive? Of course I am, silly. I'm Denari now. She exhales a dreamy sigh. Perfected. In some ways, Blanche looks the same as she did in group. Pale skin, black hair and red lips. Only now, she looks like someone made a wax model of her. Her skin has no pores or imperfections anymore. More like a mannequin than a person. Just like Philpott. Damn. Blanche is a Denari, and now she looks too perfect to be real. Can Philpott be one too? I want to facepalm myself. Of course, he's one of the Denari. Only Philpott's personality was so flawed, and never really focused on the perfection of his face, and he brought me here. Not good. I work hard to stop myself from shaking. Where am I? I would have thought that was obvious. It isn't. It must be those silly drugs we gave you. They can make you downright addle-brained. Addle-brained? What is she? 80? I speak super slowly. Where am I? Blanche. You're in the Thornhill Arms Hotel, of course. Right, of course. My voice is super sarcastic, and I don't care. I'm in a creepy abandoned hotel that overlooks Elle's cabin. We all know what you did to Madame Grimoire, by the way. That was very naughty. I pick at the filmy layers of my skirts. Why am I here, Blanche? I dressed you while you were passed out. I hope you like it. I don't like it, and that wasn't an answer to my question. Blanche was always like this in group, too. It took 10 follow-up questions to get her to answer anything. Blanche blinks a lot and tries to look innocent. Whatever do you mean? Why am I here? Are you planning to... I can't bring myself to say the words. To what? Roast me for dinner or something? We eat all our meat raw. So you're going to kill me. I gesture down at the dress. This dress is just... what? The equivalent of putting on little chef hats and stumps on turkey legs. Don't be such a silly nilly. Come on outside. Jules will explain everything to you. Jules. Reggie told me about this guy. He's the leader of the Denari, and that means I'm in deep trouble. He wants to talk to me. Of course. Blanche pushes the door open. Let's go downstairs. Jules is waiting for you in the courtyard. Oh. I glance towards the windows, but they're all too cracked and dirty to see outside. But now that I know I'm in the Thornhill Arms, I have a better idea of my whereabouts. The old hotel was built to look like a fake castle. It even has 2 stucco towers. Since my room is round, the windows are super thin. I'm guessing I'm in one of those tower rooms. I scan the space around me, looking for any kind of weapon. Nothing. Blanche stands by the open door. We really shouldn't keep Jules waiting. My mind races through options for escape. The hotel is so run down, I'm bound to find something I can use as a weapon. I just need to get out of this room and look around. Heading downstairs to the courtyard seems as good an idea as any, really. Sure, lead the way. Blanche darts down a winding staircase. The steps are rickety and filled with cobwebs. Sadly, there isn't anything around that can be used as a weapon. Someone took the time to take down the light fixtures and handrails, all stuff that could be used in a fight. Even the carpet's been pulled up, and all the nails removed. With every turn downward, I look from a door for a window. There aren't any. Every possible exit has been nailed down tight. I do hear rustling sounds beyond the walls, though. Are we the only people here? There are Denari in residence. Any bit of information could be useful. How many are here? I'm sure I don't know. Denari just follow Jules around. I don't waste my time with the rank and file. You and me. She glances over her shoulder and grins. We're special. Oh no. They really did scoop out her brains, because what she's saying now is nothing less than mindless. Glad to hear it, Blanche. Do we have to visit Jules right this second? Can't you give me a tour of the hotel or anything? I force a smile on. I'd love to catch up. Why, I'd love that too. There's so much to talk about as well. But later, you see, Jules would be sorely disappointed if you kept him waiting. She reaches the bottom of the winding staircase and sets her hand on a levered door. Here we go. Jules has just passed this door. The walls seem to press in on me. Silver spots appear in my vision. My limbs turn shaky. Something rattles inside the deepest well of my being. It's that damn lockbox from Colonel Mallory. Whatever is in there is trying to escape. No, I can't have an episode now. You didn't, by any chance, get my inhaler, did you? Silly me. I do have it. Blanche pulls a small device from the pocket of her skirt and hands it over. Now, take your medicine like a good little girl and go see Jules. I uncap the device, take a few puffs, reset the inhaler into the folds of the fabric at my waist. This dress doesn't seem to have any pockets, so it's the best I can do. Good work, says Blanche happily. Jules wanted you to do that. Well, if Jules wanted me to take my meds, it can't be a good idea. I remember how Knox freaked out when he sent him my inhaler. I make a mental note to ask him about that later on. You know, if I ever escape here alive. Come along now. Blanche pushes open the door. Bright beams of morning sunlight blind me for a moment before I adjust. Jules is waiting. I got that, thanks. I step out onto the courtyard. It's a huge square space lined with grey flagged stones. On one side, there's the hotel itself, the Thornhill Arms. On the other 3 sides of the square space, there stands walls made of thorny branches. It's like a hedgerow maze. Only with no way out. Even worse. All the walls glitter with silver light. I've seen the same effect on the plants Auntie Mirabelle grows in her penthouse. They're enchanted with fairy magic. Blanche extends her arms across the courtyard. And there's our beloved leader, Jules. I follow her gesture. At the far end of the flagstone yard stands a lone figure. Although his back is turned, I can tell that he's tall and strong with full head of brown hair. Somehow I expected an old and withered version of Julius Caesar. How come he looks young and hot? I shiver, realising the answer is just what Reggie said. Jules has been fed well. Gross. Jules is also wearing modern clothing, which is another shocker. Namely, he's dressed up in a modern military uniform that's blue and has shoulder epaulets. A long red sash crosses his chest at high and his waistline. Atop his head there sits a thin golden crown. He's dressed like a prince. The thought makes my skin prickle into goose flesh. Oh no. I'm trapped in a castle that's protected by magical thorns. Unless I take my medicine, I'll fall into an enchanted sleep, and I'm about to meet some dude named Jules, who decided to dress up like royalty. Worst of all, it's getting close to the sunset on my 18th birthday, the exact time when I'm supposed to wed my dream man. This is the Sleeping Beauty template, and it sucks. I scope out the flagstone yard. There's definitely no easy means of escape. Those thorns will kill me in 2 seconds flat. That said, I do have one last shot at freedom. Sure, it's a slim chance, but I have to give it a try. So I set my hand by my mouth. I summon thee, Colonel Mallory the Magnificent. Blanche titters. You can't help you here. No one can. She lowers a voice. Take my advice. Whatever Jules tells you to do, you do it. Although his plan must be obvious by now. Yeah, I got it. A little bit of bile creeps up my throat. Yuck. And that's when my memory clicks in. The red toga dress is in ancient Rome. Bride always wore red togas on the wedding day. This isn't just a Sleeping Beauty template. It's a big final scene of that story. I'm here to marry the evil zombie version of Julius Caesar. My life has officially reached rock bottom. But then I underestimate how low I have yet to fall, because Jules turns and I recognise his face immediately. It's Philpot. Philpot the Turd is actually the evil leader of the organ-eating Denari, and I'm about to marry him on my 18th birthday just like my aunties always wanted. Blanche steps closer to whisper in my ear. I heard rumours that you can fight, but whatever battle skills you think you have, you've nothing compared to Jules. You're weak, Bryar Rose. Incomplete. He can help you. With that, Blanche sets off. My rebel reflex again. I straighten my shoulders and glare at him with everything I've got. No, I'm stronger than you can imagine. All of you are underestimating me. It's a total lie, but Blanche's mouth falls open with surprise. Good. At least she's buying my story. I make a mental note to thank Elle later. All her lessons in conning and bluffing your way out of trouble are paying off. I can almost hear her in my head. Keep up the con until you can escape. In this case, the con is pretending I have a way out of here, until I find one that actually works. Lifting my chin, I flip my hair over my shoulder and sashay toward Jules with a hip swish that says, I can handle anything. It's not the best plan I've ever had, but right now it's the only chance I've got. And that's the next part of Bryar Rose. Dun dun dun. So Philpot is the leader of the Denari and is actually Julius Caesar reincarnated in a new body. But because he's a Denari, he's forever youthful because he gets fed organs from people. Ew! And Bryar Rose, well, obviously he wants to marry her and he's planning for that to happen. This has just took a very crazy turn. So, come back next time as we continue our adventure with Bryar Rose. Many blessings. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. and to the next chapter of Bryar Rose. So we're now on chapter 19. We're actually back to Knox. My inner wolf growls in my head. Find mate. Save mate. He's wrong about the mate part. Still, when it comes to finding and saving Bryar Rose, my wolf and I are definitely on the same page. For the last hour, I've been trying to get past this forest of thorns and reach Bryar Rose. Alec and Elle stand nearby. It took the three of us all night, along with a ton of wizard spells, to find out where Philpot took Bryar Rose, but we did it. She's not far from this very spot, in a place called the Thornhill Arms Hotel. So far, so good. About 2 hours ago, Alec cast a transport spell for all three of us to come here. We couldn't get right into the hotel itself. It's shielded with too much magic. Instead, we landed beside the boundary between the enchanted thorn forest and some regular woods. Since then, we've been pacing along the borderline, trying to find a break in the thorns. All you need is one path through magic like this, and you can get through. But whoever cast those thorns is a master. We haven't found a single break. I stare at the black and twisted branches. The thorns here are razor sharp and enchanted to attack anyone who enters the forest. An hour ago, I stuck my hand in, and my palm got skewered. Sure, I have the shifter power to self-heal, but even then, I can only handle so much. Ella and Alec stepped closer. They're both wearing jeans, t-shirts and hiking boots. Of course, Alec is also sporting a suit coat that's packed with tons of pockets for his gemstones. He thinks that wizards who carry around man bags of jewels look like losers. I have to agree with him on that one. Also, it advertises who you are, which isn't too clever either. I stare greedily at the thorns. Sure, those things, well, they look killer, but they're what's keeping me away from Bry. She needs help, right? I've got to do something. Maybe I should just jump in and trust my powers of healing. Anything's better than standing around. Besides, when I stuck my hand in before, I was in human form. What's the point of being a warden if I don't get to test my limits every so often? Alec steps up to my side. I know what you're thinking. He lets out one of his long-suffering sighs. I don't like this, Knox. Still, I know Alec's sighing routine. It won't stop me. Look, I'm going in. That's not up for discussion. You can watch my back, or you can take off. He sighs again. You know I've got you. His face looks pale, though. Between casting all those spells to find Bryar Rose and bringing us here, my friend is wiped out. A small part of me says that if things get tough, he might not be able to heal me. I decide that little part is wrong. Time's running out. By sunset, Bryar Rose will lose her wolf. Some things are simply worth taking a risk. I give Alec a playful punch on the shoulder. Thanks, man. Ella steps closer to Alec. Can't we talk him out of this? A muscle jumps along Alec's jaw. No, trust me. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. Now that my decision is in motion, I can't wait to get started. Setting my hands at the waistline of my leather pants, I prepare to strip. Alec sets his hands on Ella's shoulders and turns her away from the naked Knox show. Whatever. If she's going to hang with Alec and me, she'll eventually see my junk. It's just how life goes when you're a shifter. The moment I'm bare, my wolf bursts through my flesh. It's like being torn apart from the inside out. Agony explodes inside me. My bones crack, muscles snap. Fur replaces skin as my hands change into claws. It's over in a heartbeat, which is some kind of record for me. The moment my transformation's done, I leap straight into the wall of thorns. My claws rip through the thick branches. There are too many of them, though. Faster than I can tear them apart, the branches loop around me from head to toe. Thorns spike through my hide and stab me in 100 places at once. Pain radiates everywhere. A moment later, I'm surrounded in red light. I'd know that particular shade anywhere. Alec is casting a spell. The branches loosen from my body. The thorns retract from my skin. Ella grabs my back paws and hauls me out of the wall of thorns. I look like a bloody pincushion. At least I'm alive. But I'm no closer to Bry. Alec leans down beside me. His face looks pale. Black circles droop under his eyes. That was close. I almost lost you. I get that he's bummed, but I'm too busy healing to care right now. My fur is pretty soaked in blood. Changing back will hurt like hell, but it's the best way to get cleaned up and healed so we can keep on looking. Glancing over at Ella, I chuff out a low breath. That's all the warning she's getting that I'm about to transform into a naked dude. Alec's been around me enough that he knows exactly what happens next. He leaps to Ella's side and angles her away from me once more. My body slowly starts turning back into a human. Every snap of bone and tear of skin is excruciating. Still, it's better than running about as a blood-soaked wolf. Within a few minutes, I'm back to my regular human self, only fully healed and dressed. Only recovering from those thorns took a toll on my inner magic. Normally I'd rest for a few hours before going on. That won't happen today, though. Bryce still needs my help. A faint shimmer of silver dust fills the air. Someone is coming. That someone is definitely a fairy. Alec and I exchange a confused look. Anyone expecting fairies? I ask. Not me. Alec turns to Ella. How about you? Could that be one of Bryar Rose's aunties? My mouth thins to an angry line. I don't much know about Bryar Rose aunties, but they seem to be far too concerned with her marrying Philpott for my taste. Having them around will not be helpful. I doubt it, says Ella. Bry's aunties aren't powerful enough to transport here, and even if they could, they're 3 self-centred skanks. They'd never bother. I smirk. No. What do you really think? The glitter comes into focus. A human outline appears. And whoever this is definitely a guy. Ella pops her hand over her mouth. I know this fairy. It's Colonel Mallory the Magnificent. I'm not thrilled about this news, but Ella said that this fairy dude might actually want to help Bry. At this point, I'll take any aid we can get. The fairy dust finally congeals into what looks like an older version of Clark Gable. He wears a black suit, white shirt and wide brim hat. Colonel Mallory the Magnificent, at your service. He sets his hands on his hips and surveys the wall of thorns. I see you're having the same troubles that I am. I can't seem to get through to Bryar Rose. I eye him carefully. He seems legit, but you never know with fairies. They always have an agenda. Why are you looking for Bry? You seem to have an interest in my girl. He gives me one of those sly southern smiles. I make sure my eyes glow golden, just so he knows who he's dealing with. Answer the question, Faye. I never cursed Bryar Rose, if that's what you're all thinking. I saved her. And if you need any further proof, it would be in the fact that I'm standing on this side of the thorn forest. So, let's get down to it. Have you found any breaks in the magic? No, Ella says. We've been looking for hours. Her shoulders slump. You haven't found a way through either, I'm guessing. That would be no, sugar. I've cast about every spell I can think of today, but whoever did the thorns in this forest, they use the power of 100 fairies. I could break through, and for me, that's really something. Even worse, they cast a spell against dragon shifters. I consider that downright rude. So they knew you might be coming. If anything, that fact confirms this Colonel Mallory guy is legit. I'm starting to wonder if Jules himself had a hand in abducting Bry. This kind of scheming around fairy tale themes is classic for him. Colonel Mallory taps his temple. We need to come up with another plan, children. I'm afraid that means leaving here for a time. We need more power. No way. I'm a strong werewolf. Alec brought a bunch of gemstones and Ella has a fairy seed gun. It's a beauty too. The thing shoots off enchanted seeds that turns into nasty killer plants. As fairy magic goes, it's one of the few inventions they have that adjust to modern technology. I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but we need to go back to the city and get more magical help. We already called in a ton of favours, I say. Alec got his hands on some super powerful gems. Ella got herself a special gun. I asked Azizi to send in an army of wares. Colonel Mallory sighs. And how did that work out for y'all? From where I stand, we're no closer to Bryar Rose. He taps his nose with his pointer finger, and I smell blood in the air. I tried to pass the phone forest in were form. It didn't go well. Now, you did that without wizard protection. That would be your trouble. I know for a fact that this young man, he points to Alec, knows some powerful wizards. They could cast some better protection spells for you than gems can provide. Also, having all them wares drive out here, not too subtle. You'd also do better to have extra set of hands to cast transport spells. That means more wizards, my friends. I can't but notice he isn't suggesting we find more fairies. At least, that part of his plan makes sense. Colonel Mallory may have a point. Alec turns to me. You already made a pack to muster the wolves. At least, this will get them here faster. And we can transport in the best from around the world. Azizi was thrilled when I asked him for help with Bry. He's been dying to get me to lead werewolves. He never forced me, though. But when the pack shows up and helps with Bry, I'll be indebted to all of them. They'll howl for me to be their alpha. Colonel Marley holds up his stub of cigar, takes in a deep breath and exhales a bit of flame out the tip. He takes a few deep puffs from the smoke, his eyes lost in thought. Sorry, son. I'm afraid our best bet is to return to the city forthwith. I can transport you all if you like. All eyes focus on me. An electric anticipation hangs in the air. Another waiting for me to make a final call here. Do we leave Bryar Rose? I rake my hands through my hair. I want to believe there's something else we can do, but I can't think of a damn thing. Fine. We'll go back to the city. This is the right thing to do, so why do I feel like howling with rage? We could bribe the wizards and summon werewolves in a matter of hours. It could be days, weeks, even before we can return with enough power to break into Thorn alarms. Please, let Bryar Rose still be here. And that's the next chapter of Bryar Rose. Thank you for listening, and many blessings.